Drink it in, man.
Deep left side carry on. Picks on the block. At the 5. At the 2. At the 1 to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Drink it in, man.
Get up, Stafford throws. It is end zone. Caught! Oh, baby, what a catch! Kenny Galladay, you're a freak! What a catch! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread!
I love the Lions! Say it with me! I love the Lions!
Drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid, what is going on, everybody? We are back. I got Grifka here. Grifka, we had a technical issue. We lost the show. We're back today. People are going to get a double dip today and tomorrow, and we're going to bring them 2 games each, man. It's going to be a lot of Lions talk. You ready to do this?
Yeah, this might seem like a little deja vu to us, so let's just knock this out.
Yeah, man. Sounds good. We know the combine's going on. We know the coach and the GM both stepped to the podium. We'll get to that more now. So before we jump in, I just want to tell the people. So our plan is today we're going to be giving you Chicago and the Rams rewind. Our Friday morning show that drops, we're still going to be able to get that one in. So that one, let me refresh my memory. That's going to be the Cards and Bills game. So we'll rumble through both of those. And then over the weekend or before we get to our show rewind, and we'll probably bring you some combine talk and whatnot. So with all that being said, Grifka, Turkey Day, Lions, Bears, Lions in the throwbacks, the silver helmets, the all blue, just plain gray jerseys. You got to love it. I mean, we looked forward to this game every year. We had Chicago coming into town. We haven't been playing great football. I mean, what'd you think just kind of kicking off this game?
The first thing I want to mention is the uniforms. That is by far like one of my favorite Lions uniforms that I've seen them in of all times, and I even like the ones when I was a kid. But that uniform, I always thought it was sharp even when they first brought it back. That that blue with the silver number and the just the silver helmet with no decal or stripe or anything. It's one of my favorite uniforms I've had, and it's actually one of my favorite throwbacks in all the NFL.
Oh yeah, it's right up there for me too. I guarantee there's like non-Lions fans that think it's funny, like, well, they took the logos off their helmets, or look at how plain these are. But I mean, they are classic. When you're talking throwbacks, I mean, that's about as throwback as it gets right there, going way back to just the plain jerseys. It just looks sweet. So, with that being said, like my first note on the game, outside of how big it was and the cool jerseys we had going, is kind of early in this football game, we had a really nice play by the Lions. A little catch by Trey Burton of the Bears, and I believe it was Shed, got in there, absolutely just kind of punched it out. Man, who was the Bear guy? So there used to be a Bear guy that would just punch it out. Peanut Tillman, right? Wasn't that who it was? So he pulled a Peanut Tillman on the Bears, punched it out. Jared Davis picks it up and kind of fumbles his way for a good 20, 30 yards down the field, put the Lions in good position. Always nice to see when we can turn the football over.
Yeah, I mean, that, and I have to say, your boy, Jared Davis, was right there to hop on it and recover the fumble. So it's always nice when plays like that happen for the Lions.
Yep, and I love when you give credit to Jared Davis, so I'll give you a Grifka Bell just for that one. So after that, I mean, I feel like we allowed a late TD in the second quarter, kind of heading into halftime. Like, there was not much that happened in this first half. Again, I know we're rolling through these 2 games pretty quick, but I didn't have too many notes in regards to plays back and forth. I mean, we allowed a late touchdown into the half, 40 seconds left. I got 9-7 Bears at the half. Not too many other notes. You got anything else from that first half, Grifka?
Just the what is it? No, I mean, really, it was, like I said, it was kind of blasé, actually. I'm kind of running back through my notes. There was nothing really that amazing that amazed me in it. So nothing like worth note. I mean, Blount had a touchdown, but that was it.
Yeah, he fell in the end zone from in tight. Real quick before we get to the second half, like, as we've done these rewinds, Griff, I mean, I know you've kind of banged on LeGarrette Blount a little bit, and he did not have a good year, but I feel like towards the back of the season here, he did what we hoped he would do. Is he scored short touchdowns, and he has a few runs here or there where he's able to shift his feet, get outside, and get up the field a little bit. I mean, you feel the same, or you feel like he was just a bum all year long?
He just looked awful slow to me all year long, even late in the year. I mean, I remember seeing him, even a few years ago, and I realize age does take a toll, but still, I mean, it's not like even the last few years he was the main workhorse. He was still, cutting carries with a lot of people. So he just looked really slow, and yeah, he was kind of the plotter. I mean, his touchdown run against the Bears, it was I guess for lack of a term, he muscled his way in, but still, I mean, he just looked slow and plodding all year to me as compared to Carrion. Maybe that was my guy I was comparing him to.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think so. I just think if Carrion was rolling all year and LeGarrette Blount was able to get the short touchdowns or was able to hit a run here or there, we wouldn't have noticed it as much. But when he got the bulk of the carries, when you look at the numbers at the end of the day, it definitely, wasn't good enough what we expected. So we kick off the second half, Grifka, and all I got is a couple words for you, and it's Ziggy did it. Ziggy with a big sack. The guy's out there. He's making plays. What do you got to say about that, Grifka?
Yeah, it was nice. That way, they must have took his picture off the milk carton. He actually decided to show up.
Oh, he does from time to time.
Well, he had an almost sack pretty close to after that also. Your infamous almost sacks that you always tout like, he almost got there. Cool. I'm glad almost sack was on there.
Oh, man, they're called quarterback pressures. Griff could get it right. So let's keep moving our way through this game. So again, not the greatest game for our Lions, especially on national TV. I have a late third quarter was finally the time they decided to uncork the football, throw it deep to Kenny Galladay. They kind of got Stafford out of the pocket where he normally, crumbles when pressure comes. He got outside, kind of winged it down the left sideline, deep ball to Kenny Galladay. He makes the play. I mean, that was nice to see, but that definitely had to catch both of our eyes of saying, like, what took you so long, or why can't we utilize this guy for 4 quarters?
Yeah, I don't know why. I think all I can think is that since he was pretty much the main guy, a lot of teams were starting to rotate coverage to him. But later in the year, because I think at first after they after they traded Golden Tate, and teams were able to cover him a little more. And then after Marvin Jones, was hurt, a lot more was focused on him. But he was able to find his way to be able to get open. So I'm not quite for sure why they didn't use him nearly as much.
Yeah, so you said that a couple times about sort of like, oh, he's going to get more coverage, this, that, and the other. Like, my take on it is that, it's only been late in the NFL here where teams are loading up with 3-4 really good explosive type receivers. It was always you had a stud and you had a guy like kind of in the pocket that was a compliment. I mean, there shouldn't be too much of an excuse like, oh, he's getting coverage. I mean, we still got 2 good receivers. We'll probably add a couple more weapons, either receiver, tight end. But, I mean, if you're better than the guy across from you, just go make plays and get the football to him. So I'm really hoping that happens there in 2019. But due to that deep by LeGarrette Blount, the ball game makes it 13-9 Lions. I mean, at this point, even Grifka, who's been known to fear the worst, has got to be feeling decent. I mean, kind of the third quarter, later in the game here, 13-9 Lions on Thanksgiving. What are you thinking at this point?
Yeah, I was like, this is going to be another one of the Lions payback games on Thanksgiving. They seem to do that in years where they'll lose if they were to lose to one of their rivals on the road. I mean, generally like the Packers, they would play them on Thanksgiving Day game, and they would, I guess, redemption is what it would be, and they would be able to come back, get the W. So, and I mean, you heard me say this to you before. I thought the Bears weren't that great. They weren't that great. So I thought they were going to be able to pull this one out. I was feeling good about it.
Yeah, man. Right after the score, they end up going for 2. I mean, it was one of those plays, if I recall correctly, where they do like a half roll, or they kind of have a play in mind. It wasn't available. Stafford just ends up kind of firing it out of the back of the end zone. I mean, nothing creative, nothing unique, just kind of, hey, let's roll them out and try to throw it to the flat probably, and the flat's not open, so they had no other option on the play. I mean, pretty disappointed by the 2-point call, no doubt. As we move on from there, I mean, I have here in big bold print, Nevin Lawson toasted and roasted by Cohen. There was 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and finally the Bears have put a drive together. I mean, they have Chase Daniel. We didn't talk about that off the top. Chase Daniel coming in to our house on Thanksgiving, and we let him hang in the football game. He doesn't play that well. He misses some passes. Here he throws a nice little ball up, and Lawson was roasted and toasted so bad that Cohen was able to look over both shoulders twice, I think, and then made a nice over-the-shoulder adjustment to the football. Catch, easy touchdown. I mean, tie football game basically with 7:30 left is what I got here. What'd you think of that defense by your boy Nevin Lawson?
Yeah, you know how I feel about him. It's like, give me a break. I think I might as well just be in like one of those 5-gallon garbage cans, you see sitting out by the side of the road. They play just as well.
Yeah. Grifka, let me throw this at you. Like, I'm going to maybe break down the Matt Pat and the Bob Quinn presser on one of the other shows here, but did you hear the comment about Bobby Quinn saying that he's still hanging in there with Tease, and he's definitely not a safety, he's a corner, and he's hoping that he'll come around? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
But once again, I think that's just GM speak. I mean,
he's got to say it.
That's exactly. I mean, to say that. I mean, he's got to back up his statement of that being the most tape he's watched on anybody ever. So you got to show faith in the guy. As much as you can until somebody hits you over the head with a rubber mallet and says it's time to cut this guy loose.
See, my thing too is that he has to say it, and like you just brought up the good point, like Bobby Quinn went on the record of saying it's the most tape he's watched. I mean, to have a guy that you say that about and to roll the dice in the second round when everybody knew his speed and whatnot, and to have it come back and bite you, man, that's got to be the worst. Like, had he not said anything, it wouldn't be as bad. And like, my only thing as a Lions Kool-Aid drinker is, man, I hope he turns it around too. Like, high second-round pick. We need a corner. I mean, even if he could be a third or fourth option, I mean, I would like that. I mean, I'm ready for people to start asking Bobby Quinn, like, why can Nevin Lawson not cover anybody, and why'd you guys pay him, and why is he still here? You know what I mean? I know he wasn't a draft pick, but he's got just as much to be culpable for as Tease does at this point, if not more, because he's out there, man.
Yeah, and that's like, maybe, I know at some point we're going to do another podcast about position breakdowns, and we can break him down a little more. And people are like, well, put him at the third. Well, your third's usually your nickel. And actually your nickels usually has to be like one of your better athletes because there's more range to cover. There's more ground to cover.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if he has the foot speed to be a nickel. Just because you're not a starter doesn't automatically make you a nickel corner. I mean, nickel corners, they don't have to be fast, but they need to be really quick on their feet. And I don't know if he even has that. So...
Right. I agree. And my biggest thing with Tease and Nevin Lawson is they both, I mean, more so Tease because he's supposed to have great instincts and be able to make plays. He's made no plays on the football, no interceptions, no turnovers, no nothing. And same with Nevin Lawson. He has the one fumble recovery for a touchdown his whole career. He's never – so I don't mind if you get burned sometimes as long as you make plays, a.k.a. Dre Bly back. Just get roasted and toasted and never get your hands on the football. I got issues with that. So anyway, let's go ahead and finish up this game. So it's basically knotted up here late in the fourth quarter. Again, you think of this as a bad loss, but here we are late in the game with a chance to win it. Matt Stafford deep in his territory, drops back, throws the hot route to Mike Roberts on the outside, running a flat on the left side, and just gets it pick six. I mean, guy read it, just punched him in the face, took his candy, and scored this. I mean, to me, that was just an embarrassing play by a 10-year vet. Probably says, hey, I made the right read, but everybody knows, you can't do that late in a football game. Break that one down, Grifka.
That one, just from looking at it, doesn't even look like it didn't even look like that Stafford even checked off anybody. When the ball was snapped, it's almost like he knew where he was going right from the jump, right from the snap, and he just stared him down. And the defender was even off Roberts, but the safety, I believe, came over and picked, just read his eyes and came over and picked it and just went back. So that's just Stafford's got to be better than that. I mean, I don't know. He just has to be better than that.
And my thing too is it was a safety that came all the way from the back end and read this thing and got it. It's not a corner that's 3 yards off the football that broke on it. I mean, this guy came from his deep safety position, ran right to where the ball was going to come from, snagged it, and it was an easy house call after that. So I don't care what your hot route is or what the play said to do. You got to be able to spy this guy and even just fake it, buy a little time, and then you could have thrown it past him. But just to throw it right on rhythm, I mean, like I said, kind of inexcusable. So, that puts the Lions down here late in the game, 6 minutes. They put a drive together, get down somewhat close. I think they got a couple big penalties or pass interference in there somewhere. I got to admit, I watched the YouTube version rather than the long form as we had been because I knew these were some tough losses. And they get down deep, and I think it was, second down type territory inside the 20. Matt Stafford gets scrambling, and he just throws a nice loft ball up to Kenny Galladay. He goes up and absolutely snatches it right under the crossbar and can't get his toes down, and so it's incomplete. Soon after that, Matt Stafford just kind of flicks the ball to the back pylon, a.k.a. Matt Stafford by the way, didn't realize that Mike Roberts was at the front pylon running a whole different route. Easy pick for Chicago, ball game. I mean, again, what are you thinking? I remember people blaming Mike Roberts on this play. I'm just thinking, even if it's I think Stafford goes, oh, it's a feel thing. It's a feel play. Well, if it's a field play and you see your guy win one area, you throw it to another spot. That's on you, buddy. So, bad pick, ball game, pretty much for the Bears. You got anything to say about that?
There was actually a couple plays in there in that game where Mike Roberts just did not seem to be looking for the ball. I mean, Stafford threw at him on, quick routes like that, and either he didn't get his head turned around in time, or he didn't think the ball was coming to him, or something. But just watching that game again, it happened a couple times where he wasn't just, I don't know, he just wasn't paying. He just didn't have his head turned around. I mean, it was just like you said, a misread or something by the quarterback. But Mike Roberts just wasn't looking for the ball on a few passes, and it was thrown to him.
I guess so, but when I went back and watched it, I mean, if Stafford throws a laser ball to the front pylon towards the sideline, I think it's touchdown. But instead, he just sort of, like I said, he felt you were gonna cut back, or you're gonna take a better pass right to the line and getting those cut type of touchdowns. I just felt it was a bad read, and like I say, at this point, I was ready to turn my TV off. But wait. The Bears get the ball back, and they just sit on it. They just run the football, 3rd and 9. Everything on the line, about a minute left. So if we stop them, we'll be able to, I think, call a timeout and get the football back. Or, I think we did have a timeout in the pocket. So 3rd and 9, they just sweep it out to Tariq Cohen. He's about dead in the backfield, if going to gain a couple yards. Next thing you know, he's just tiptoeing along the sideline. None of our guys can tackle. There's no effort. Ends up getting all the way to the sticks for a first down, ball game. To me, it was just a terrible way to lose a game, terrible effort, like one of those joke plays where you're just like, how did you – that doesn't happen in real football. You don't let a little guy like that run through 3-4 tackles and get 9 yards on a run off tackle right. Like, it just doesn't happen. So I was really frustrated again watching that and thinking, really, that ended the game? If anything, we should at least got the ball back and had a chance.
Well, yeah, we should have got the ball back, but your boy Jared Davis took another one of his great tackles, angles on a tackle, and just totally was in the wrong gap. He ran to the wrong gap, and Tariq Cohen beat him to the outside. And, by time, Jared Davis got where he was, going, he was out of the play, and the guy just kind of turned around and blocked him. And Tariq Cohen was able to get around to the edge. So that was one of those things where Jared Davis, once again, he's got to take better angles. And if he took a better angle, he would have forced Cohen back inside where all of his help was. Instead, he took the wrong gap, and Cohen was able to get to the edge.
Yep. That's a Griff Cabell for the Jared Davis haterade. But I actually agree with you on this one. I mean, one of my things with Jared Davis, and again, he's on one of my he's on the Oakley list, is that I'm going to live with plays where he misses a gap or he might miss a tackle here or there, because I think he's got enough speed and ability to make other plays that jump off the table or create turnovers as he kind of grows in this role, as he has been. I think he's seen an uptick, as he's gone. But you're right, on this play, he missed it. I think there were at least 2 to 3 other Lions that missed it towards the sideline. None of them are excusable. especially with the game on the line. I mean, all you had to do was get this little tiny guy to the ground too. It's not like you're trying to take down Howard at this point or another big running back. It's a little Tariq Cohen. You should be able to grab him with a finger and throw him to the ground. So, like you said, that's Thanksgiving, man. A bad loss for the Lions, a bad way to lose, both on your quarterback shoulders and late game lack of effort, lack of tackling. So tough one. All right, so we're doing a double dip. So that's our Bears review. Let's jump right into the Rams game, Grifka. The Rams heading to Ford Field right after this. This was a game most people thought, oh man, it's going to be a beatdown. Rams are going to come in and score 30, 40 points against the Lions. And it was definitely a different story. So let's jump into it. I got here 3-0 Rams with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. So absolutely nothing really going on in the first quarter offensively for either team. Got to give credit to the Lions defense. And also they were able to hold Gurley in check there early, which was a big move. Snacks, all the big DTs, the boys up front were doing a good job, don't you think?
Yeah, they had early on that Gurley wasn't they were containing him pretty good. I mean, he had a couple nice runs, but for the most part, they were containing him. And the Lions were actually showing a lot more life than what I thought they would after the Thanksgiving loss, and with the tough Rams team coming in. So yeah, I would have to agree with you on there that first the Lions were playing pretty stout defense.
Can't remember, the woman here or not. Like I know they've. They were playing really good football. I think this is towards the end of the year where they're starting to peel off a little bit. I mean, but they still had all their guns blazing as far as their weapons and whatnot. So the next note I had was 10 minutes left in the second quarter. Really nice pick by Quandre Diggs. It was one of those play action deep passes that Jared Goff seemed to go to every play in this game. He'd fake it and try to throw it 30 time. He throws it down the field, overshoots his target, and Quandre had to come from a great distance, and he was able to kind of basket catch this while on the run and start to get upfield. I thought it was a nice athletic play by him. Obviously, we're big fans of him and think he's a cornerstone to that defense, no doubt about it.
Yeah, that was a good. I thought the Lions defense on that, they did a nice little scheming play right there and fooled Jared Goff, and he thought he had something open deep, and like you said, he just kind of winged it up there, and Diggs was back there to make the play. So that was a nice defensive scheme that Matt Pat and Mother Goose came up with.
Yeah, I'm all about turnovers too, man. I feel like we got to turn the football over. We've got to make plays on the ball when it's there. So it was nice to see that, no doubt. So let's keep blowing through these. So a TD by Woods soon after that on your boy Slay. I felt like Robert Woods is a decent football player, but he's nothing extraordinary. So to have our number one corner on him down deep, and then for him to be able to shake loose, score a touchdown, I was a little disappointed on that. That was with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Lions get the football back, and they got 2 minutes, but they just kind of. I think the first play they ran was this draw play to Theo Riddick, and they tried to sneak. You know how like when they start a 2 minute, they try to either get a screen or a draw and get like 10 yards or so to get him going. Well, they tried this draw play to Theo, and Aaron Donald absolutely blows in the backfield, just grabs him with two hands and slings him to the ground with ferocity. I mean, I had to watch it a couple times. It was incredible. So that was a great play by him. Basically ended the half. Ended any hopes the Lions had to go down and get a field goal or any type of points.
Yeah, I'll comment on that play first. Then I want to, go back for a couple seconds. And when Aaron Donald, pretty much, lambasted Riddick. I just even watching that play again, I laughed. I did. I just chuckled. I just thought it was so funny. It was almost like varsity against JV right there. He just like man-child him. It just made me laugh. I mean, that's all there was to it. But to go back and talk about that after the Diggs play. What happened was I was, watching that again. We was kind of talking about key things. I mean, there was a play in there right after the Lions got the ball back. Shortly thereafter, it was like second or third down. I mean, I know because I keep an eye open for this guy because we might have something with him. Levine Toilolo was wide open downfield. I mean, wide open, like nobody around him, and Stafford just overshot him. I mean, it was like one of those plays that could, it might not led to nothing, but they could have went 3-and-out right after that first down or something. But it was one of those things that, it keeps the drive alive, but instead it gave the ball back to the Rams. And you mentioned the Woods beating Slay for the touchdown, but on that same drive, the Lions had 2 defensive penalties. They had a defensive holding from your boy Nevin Lawson, and then they also had an illegal hands to the face, which gave them a first down. I think it was like a second and long or third. It was second or third and long in that when that happened, where it kept the drive live, and it was just one of those things. Like shortly thereafter, they Woods beat Slay for the touchdown. So we was kind of talking about key plays, and that little stretch right there. I mean, that was like 3 key plays that led to, it could have been a 14-point swing. So
Yeah, that's good stuff. That play, they would have been off the football field. Instead, it was a first down, and it was a long one too. I mean, they were in third and quite long and able to move the sticks on that penalty. That always hurts you big time. So 13-3, the Rams were up heading to halftime. Sitting there as a Lions fan, even watching it again, you got to be feeling like, hey, 13. I have here a great sack by Snacks. 13 minutes left in the third quarter. He ends up making a play, and I didn't hit on it on the Chicago game, but I know early on in that football game he had a sack as well, being able to get after the quarterback. So, we talked about it a bunch on the show, Grifka, but really excited to see a full season of Snacks and see what this guy can do in the middle of the defense. He's making impacts, and just even when he's not making sacks and plays, just clogging up the middle is huge for this team.
yeah, having him for a full year would definitely help him, help the Lions defense. I saw a stat. I can't remember which game I was watching in this, but where the Lions run defense was without him, they were like 26th in run defense by time by time he got to the team. And then from that week they got him up until the point I saw the stat. I think it was during the Bills game. They were like 6th in the league in rush defense. So I mean, he obviously made a huge difference for this team.
Yeah, it was a tremendous value with that 5th rounder too. So, build around him and got a good D line. I went from kind of no D line to a good D line. Now just looking for some edge rushers, depending on how they want to do that. If they want to get the big edge rusher like we're used to, or if they want another Kennard type, Jack linebacker type that kind of rushes off the edge. So that'll be interesting to see. Soon after that, the Lions got a field goal. I think it was a pretty nice distance field goal by Prater. So that was good to see. Just an absolute terrible. I have here just a terrible onside kick by Sam Martin. Like, I was excited watching it again, going, "What did they just onside kick it in like the third quarter or whatever it was?" Sure enough, they pull a rabbit out of their hat, onside it. But it was the most lame onside kick of all time. Tracy Walker basically picks the ball up and looks at Sam Martin like, "Come on, man! Like, all you got to do is get it 10 yards. We would have had him, and you can't even kick the football. It's your only job." Like, I mean, Sam Martin, he has to have a towel and a glove on to come out and hold for extra points, and he can't even kick the ball off right. What was it, 2-3 games ago? We talked about him falling on the ground. I mean, what's this guy's issue, man? Terrible.
Yeah, that was another play. I left scratching my head. Just like, yeah, I mean, great. Onside kick, cool. And then this was like, it was like almost like the perfect putt in golf where you have to go short and it's on a fast green, but you putt it perfectly. This thing was supposed to go 10 yards and it stopped like at 7. I mean, it was going so slow it like stopped at 7 yards. It's not like there was something there stopping it. No, the ball just like stopped at 7 yards. Like you said, Tracy Walker just bent down and picked it up. It's like, yeah, okay.
And why can't kickers come up with anything innovative? Like, I haven't seen a new style onside kick or unique play in, a decade of watching football. This is all these guys do is kick field goals, punts, and try onside kicks during practice, but they're always terrible at it. I mean, it's like 1 in a million. I see a good onside kick that either gets a good hop or they fake out the receiving team and make a great play. I mean, like I say, I'm basically done with this guy, especially for what he makes. I mean, time for a new option back there. We can get a punter, dime a dozen, So anyway, after that, they get the football. The Rams don't do much with it. I have here a nice drive by the Lions. They made their way down the field, a couple passes here or there. I think it might have been to Levine Toilolo. What do you think about him?
I don't know. I mean, I was kind of surprised by that signing. I think we might have found something with him.
Yeah, I mean, all this talk about tight end. I mean, come on, people. We got Levine Toilolo. I mean, everybody forgot that he probably had 10 catches before he signed with the Lions. So we definitely don't have anything. But sure enough, they get down close, and Taylor Decker, of all people, into a route. He catches the ball, scores, throws it in the crowd, and then for 4 weeks after that, we had to listen to Taylor Decker talk about, I want my football back. I want my football. It's just like, well, don't throw it in the crowd, you idiot. But still happy to see the Lions get on the board here. What about you?
I want my football, man. Crying like every Ohio State Buckeye.
I want my football.
I want my football. I got robbed.
Oh, man, for a big guy, man, he for a couple weeks. It was just embarrassing.
Yeah, wait till we do my draft or we do our like prospects tirade, and you hear my tirade again about Mike Weber, especially what he said at the combine. Like, give me a break. Be crazy to play for the Lions. Yeah, it'd be crazy to have your dummy ass on the team. Sorry.
He's a late round. He's a late round target for me, people. If he's there really late, I don't mind.
He'd be an awesome tackling dummy in practice. And he could whine about it on Twitter.
Hey, man, this guy can catch and run. And speaking of that, Grifko, we won't get into it now because we're blowing through this episode, but I got a bone to pick with you, even though I just made fun of Taylor Decker. You brought something to the table about him that we argued about over the last weekend that we'll get into in another show. So I'll let that slide for now. You got any other comments on this touchdown, or can we keep
No, I mean, that was probably the best pass play the Lions had all game, though.
Oh, man, that's saying something. That's rough. But, next thing I got is Frank Ragnow. Man, he just had an absolutely rough day at the office. Aaron Donald ragdolled him, went around him, beat him up, pushed him around. Not fun to see our number one pick, middle of the first round, get kind of treated like this, even if it is by the best defensive tackle in the game. Overall, Griffith, what do you think about him getting roughed up? And then do you expect better things now that he'll be in year 2? Because he can't be a sieve even if it's against these top pass rushers.
Yeah, that was for some games that he looked really good. Being like the road grader. Like we mentioned it, recovering the Patriots game. He just looks like such a road grader there, just, pushing guys around, opening holes. I mean, you expect to see that, but, I mean, it was Aaron Donald, and Aaron Donald does that to a lot of people. I mean, there was games where Ragnow just looked really bad on stunts, just on, like, simple twist stunts, not talking where, like the two down linemen, go out, and then the linebacker comes in where they were and, miss that. No, I'm talking, like, simple twist, between the tackle and the end. He seemed to get confused, so he definitely needs to, pick it up on that. But there's just games where he just dominated on pushing guys around, rushing the ball. But it's Aaron Donald. He's going to do that to a lot of people, but he definitely did have a lot of ups and downs for a rookie.
Yeah, I totally agree. So let me tell you this. So you said how he finished plays and whatnot, and I know that was a big thing coming into us taking him was nasty, or nobody could get by him, didn't allow any sacks. So the other day, Griffith, I was watching some tape on TJ Hawkinson because he's all the rage for the Lions, and I'm like, all right, let me get my head even more around this guy in case they take him. Again, I don't want him at 8. I wouldn't mind him in a trade down, and even if they take him at 8, it's all about what he does on the field. But so I'm watching this video, this breakdown from this guy on YouTube, and he's showing like plays of TJ Hawkinson just crushing people in the run game and by blocking. And he had one of the greatest taglines of all time. So when you're talking about Ragnow finishing plays or a guy like Hawkinson really bearing down on blocking, the guy kept yelling out, "Finish your food." Finish your food, big fella. I was just like, oh my gosh, what a great line. We got to say that next year going into games when people get.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. But I still don't want TJ Hawkinson at 8, no matter what. I don't care. I don't care if he finishes his food and takes the next guy's food. I don't give a crap. He pays it forward and eats his food. I don't give a crap. I still don't want TJ Hawkinson at 8.
All right, we'll save that for another day because it can't be at 8 no matter what, Griffith. There's no matter what's in life. Like, you have to take everything like where it is with all the different variables.
That's black
not
and white
no
right
matter
there.
What.
There ain't no gray area with me like hemming and hawing about, well, maybe this can be. No. Forget it. Done with you guys. Take a tight end at 8. I don't care. Don't forget it. You'll be doing the Detroit Koolaid going, I'm just here, Chris. Mad because they took. Yep, I'm mad because they took. I'm mad because they took a tight end.
Oh, see, I hate that, man. That you do like you're not even willing to wait
No,
and see what he'd do or if he'd be a
no.
perfect fit. You're just done on it because of
Name
the
the last
position
first-round tight end
and
the
the
Lions
pick.
took that I was wrong on. Oh, wait, never mind.
Oh, okay. Like there's been 2 in the whole history of the NFL. You had one of them right.
Oh,
Good
yeah,
job.
one of them right? Oh, yeah, we all forgot about
Okay.
Brandon Pettigrew? Okay, I didn't want him either. And that was like at, what, 18 or 19? I mean, I still didn't want him.
Yeah. That was the Dallas pick at 20 or whatever. But yeah, I didn't want him either, but we fought for years because he had good production
Yeah,
the first
he had,
couple years. Anyway, let's
yeah,
get
those
back to
skillets that he
this
had
game.
at the end of his wrist, that was amazing.
All right. Well, another day. We're definitely going to argue this Hawkinson point again.
Oh, good.
I
look forward to ripping.
there's
I
lots
look
of
forward to
takes
ripping
on
on any tight end in the first round.
it. Okay, because you're the draft wizard. All right. So moving forward, before you knew it, the Lions had the football back deep in their end zone. Guess who? Aaron Donald absolutely blows by Graham Glasgow makes him look foolish. Gets to the quarterback. Matt Stafford spins himself into a circle. Aaron Donald gets him with his bear-like hands and just throws him to the ground and gets the football out for a fumble. Next thing you know, easy touchdown by Todd Gurley. 6:55 left. 23-13 Rams, so they're starting to pull away. Next drive for the Lions I have here, I like how Matt Stafford threw the ball up to Kenny. There was a couple, he had a couple nice plays in this game, some good stats. But Kenny just on a couple, he makes some circus catches, but a lot of times he gets his feet in. He didn't kind of on this game. Lions turn it over. Touchdown by Todd Gurley again, 30-16. I mean, a game that was so close. Now it's 30-16 Rams. I mean, it got out of hand late, no doubt.
Well, the hard part was when the Lions had that drive where they went down and got a field goal. I mean, like you said, Stafford. I mean, it was one of those things you kind of had to start winging the ball around. But the Rams did have a long pass interference penalty, which definitely helped. And it wasn't even a ticky tack. That wasn't a ticky tack. And I know the Rams defensive back was like looking around like who me? I didn't do nothing. It's like, come on, man, this was like so blatant. But the hard part about it is then right after that, I mean, they were down to the 25-yard line. I mean, it's like, okay, cool, and they were still down 23-13, but then they do what they always do. It's almost like they kind of settled for the field goal. Like some of the play calls were just terrible, and it's just they ended up getting the 3 points. But then then you got to stop the Rams, okay, and that's okay. But then there was one play where there was just a massive hole that Gurley ran through. It's not like he didn't have to make a cut or anything. It just everybody was just blown off, and he ran. He gets it out to the sideline, and then right before he goes in, he decides to start going instead of going east west, he starts going north south, and he's just like, okay, somebody tackle me because I don't want to score too soon. And it's just like, okay, so he finally goes down at like the 5 or whatever, and then a couple plays later, it's just he just like walks in. Even the hole that was just like the coach can't say let him score and we'll get the ball back quicker. It's just like because you see that every once in a while, just like the defensive line opens up like the Red Sea, and all of a sudden it's just like no, I mean it wasn't even that. The Lions were trying, and still like Gurley just kind of like walked in and untouched, and that was the backbreaker right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I forgot about that play where he ran sideline across the goal line. I bet everybody playing fantasy football is freaking out, and I'm just like annoyed because, he's so worried about like just beating us. He doesn't even want to score again. Like it was just frustrating to see that at the end of the game, and then he scores anyway. So it's like,
but yeah, so it was like at that point though. I mean, Gurley had broken the. At that point, Gurley had broken the Lions, and he was starting to chew up yards. For as good as they held him in check early on, he started to plow through him afterwards.
Yeah, and then Stafford put some empty stats together, but then ends up throwing just a really lazy. I just have a lazy bad throw to the end zone. Moved his way down the field with those passes where no one's guarding anybody. Then like ain't score a touchdown, he just flicks it to the other team, makes himself look bad. Basically ends the game 30-16. Lions lose to the Rams in Ford Field.
But Toilolo had a great game, so we might have found something with him.
he did have some late catches. But so Grifko, this is 2 losses, one on Thanksgiving, another one right after that. Basically, like at this point, Lions. This is when we had our argument about, do you just try to go win a couple games? Do you try to, like, make sure that you're keeping draft pick in range, even though, like, we want to win these football games? And man, this is kind of where the season turned. I feel like these 2 games plus the Seattle game were just like, oh man, after that they just didn't have enough health and they didn't have enough firepower to get it done. Let's just chat about a couple things before we go. I mean, do you believe the Lions can win football games when they're turning the football over like they did here? I mean, we had Stafford with 2 picks, and the one game he's got a fumble, a couple picks kind of against the Rams, and he's not even putting up yards and touchdowns. I mean, there's pretty much no way they can win football games turning the ball over like that. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for any team in the NFL to win when they turn over the ball like that, but the Lions have nowhere near, at that point in the season, the offensive firepower to be able to overcome stuff like that. The run defense had improved, but the pass defense at that point in the season had really become the Achilles heel for the team. So the Lions just didn't have the firepower to be able to overcome turnovers like that, especially in like kind of key situations. We're not talking, like you said, like late in the game, that lazy pass that ended against the Rams, and ones like that. It's just like, okay, the game's over. I mean, that's just a turnover. It doesn't matter at that point in the game, anyways. But when you're like you said, when you're driving down, and you think Roberts is going to the back pylon, and he stops at the front one, you throw it out there, and that's a pick. And the other one against the Bears on Thanksgiving, where he totally did not take his eyes off Mike Roberts. Like, he had googly eyes for him, and the safety just read it and came across and pick sixed it. And it's just stuff like that where the Lions, they're just not good enough to be able to overcome stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. Last thing I had for you was, do you feel like this current Lions team, like heading into 2019, I mean, can they start winning some of these, what I call big time football games? I'm talking national TV, Thanksgiving, prime time, or just a normal football game on Sunday at 1, but they're playing a team that's actually good and has a good record and is ready to rock and roll and needs a win too. I mean, until they start winning games like that consistently, I mean, they're never going to be the team that we want them to be. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, the way this team is made up right now, I still think they'll struggle with those. They have enough to compete early, but like against the Rams, they just kind of, they just have enough, and they kind of folded late. And some teams just catch lightning in a bottle and they get confident in themselves. I mean, a couple of years ago it was Jacksonville. Last year, I still believe it was the Bears. I still don't think the Bears are that great. They're not that great, but but then they show up for like teams against the Patriots, and it makes you wonder how they win that game. And the Packers didn't turn out to be world beaters, but when they first beat them in the year, and they were still the Packers that everybody knew, and so. I think they'll compete against those, but it seems like when they really need the game, the team still doesn't have the makeup or the firepower to win that game.
Yeah, my quick take on it is, like, I feel like the last few years we've been able to beat up on the lowly teams, and with a terrible record, we'll beat them. A team will come into Ford Field and not have a very good squad or some injuries, we'll beat them. We go on the road against good teams, or we have a good team come to our house that's pretty healthy and ready to go. I mean, our record is as bad as been documented. Stafford against those winning teams is not good. So I don't know. I feel like going into 2019, though, with a good draft and some good free agent pickups, like, they have a decent core, and it's about that time where, you can't be playing, this 500 football. You got to get yourself an early lead in the season, or, really gain momentum throughout the year with stacking W's. And that's going to have to come into good teams, the bad teams, every team on your schedule. So, I think they can do it, but yeah, they have not been good in the big moments. Recently, even with those comebacks, when they had those comebacks, it was kind of, those were frustrating because it was kind of, hey, why'd you wait so long? Or why are we pulling these games out with pretty much luck at the end of the game? To me, you got to play more solid football, like the Patriots, like the Packers, and like the Dolphins game this year. I mean, those were good quality wins. I mean, both the teams that they played at the time, as you said, with the Packers, but also Rams and Patriots. Hey, man, those teams were good when we played them. We beat their tails. So I think those are the kind of wins they're going to have to stack up more often than not. And like I always say, man, the NFL is a hard business. There's a lot of competition, lots of good teams across the NFL. There's not too many gimmies, but you definitely gotta put a team together that can win in all types of situations. And I think they're getting towards that, but we gotta turn it on here in 2019. So, you got anything else for the people, Grifka? All right, well, cool. Thank everybody. We apologize for the crazy glitch. The first show that we've completely lost after we recorded it, so it's bound to happen. I got over my cold pretty much. I still got a little bit of a cough, so I was able to use my cough button and get through that. So I appreciate everybody putting up with me being sick last week. And me and Grifka wanted to get these 2 games done kind of in record time here, work our way through these rewinds, and then we'll be back at you Friday with another 2 Detroit Koolaid Rewinds. And then over the weekend and next week, we'll be getting into combine, free agency, and the draft. So thank you, everybody. Detroit Koolaid Cast for me and for Grifka. We're out.
Pack the bag, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.
Drink it in, man.